the main challenges would be stigma and I think fear and confusion. Lots and lots of confusion around what mental health is and what it isn't. And the fear that if they speak out, if they are having problems, that they will be picked on, stand out and identified for bullying.
One of the problems is if you've got a young person with poor mental health, how do they speak out and how do they seek help? And so you get this vicious spiral that Louise is talking about, that actually some of our most vulnerable young people are so hard to reach because actually within the nature of the illness that they withdraw from support. And so that's a really massive challenge.
It's like a spiral. It can feed into something that's already established or make it worse or begin it. Yeah, it's huge.
Being a young person is really difficult. There's all sorts of things that you're trying to figure out about yourself and about the world, and trying to do that while your view of yourself and the world is a little bit distorted is incredibly hard. So that just is a huge challenge on its own, just surviving adolescence in a way and finding your place.
I think we live in a very busy, fast and competitive society. I think there's a lot of pressures on young people to perform at the moment. I think that sometimes there's a lot of stress in families, and that in itself can affect people's sense of mental health, well-being. But also sometimes children and young people feel a need to protect other members of the family if there are difficulties. So they may feel that they have to be strong and not talk about what they're feeling in a situation.
I think in addition, there's a real emphasis on young people attaining success, whatever that means, and young people are finding it really difficult to know what it means for them.
That's definitely true. I mean, they say when we're choosing our GCSEs and A-levels and things, don't choose what your friend's choosing. But it all comes with age. You know, the peer pressure is very prominent as you're younger and steadily decreases, and you'd like to think that by the time you're an adult, you start to think for yourself and you choose.
Certainly we're finding a lot of pressure from schools, from the education system. A lot of pressure to succeed in exams because there are lots of worries about the future around getting jobs or university places. So those sorts of things are certainly contributing to young people's mental well-being.
Young people face all the normal challenges that any young person has ever faced throughout history, trying to work out who they are, how they fit in, their place in the world, all of that with the added pressures of social media, which is massive and means that, you know, wherever they are, whatever they're doing, they're being pressured into being sometimes who they are, but sometimes who they don't want to be, and other things and other people. They've got constant around them of social expectations. This is what you should look like, this is what you should wear, this is what you should be, this is how you should be. And our celebrity culture doesn't help.
Definitely, because I think especially with mental health things like anorexia, like body image is quite a big thing, and it can just make people feel quite bad about themselves.
When you're seeing, you know, a celebrity on the TV or whatever, and you think, oh, maybe I should be like that, or maybe I should look like that and look a certain way, then there's definitely a pressure to, you know, look like a person you see on TV or look like an image like that.
Yeah, there's a kind of pressure to like be perfect like they are, but no one actually is.
Absolutely, it's setting unrealistic expectations. I think, for instance, for young girls, you're expected to look a certain way, behave a certain way, sing, perform, but also there's something about not appearing too intelligent. You know, there's something for young girls out there, and you look at the celebrities out there and they're somehow meant to be stupid. You know, there is a lot to do with that, and you kind of wonder what message that gives young people.
I don't know, what were we saying earlier? We were saying that celebrities can actually be more of a positive role model in a way, because, like, for example, not quite so related, but like in football, you have the show racism in the red card sort of thing. So footballers actually, of late, are very sort of trying to be good role models for all the young boys and girls that would like to go into football and that sort of thing. I think celebrities can be as much of a positive impact as a negative one.
I think one of the problems with social media is you don't get a break from disagreements. You don't really get a cooling off period, a chilling out, a time to kind of think and process. It's constantly getting new information, and your brain never really has a chance to catch up with that. So for somebody who's struggling with their mental health and therefore perhaps has a bit of a psychological bias to picking up on being rejected or nobody liking them or being ugly or being fat or whatever that might be, then that sort of world where they're hearing those messages constantly because that's what they're looking for, and it's quite easy to find if you look for it, can make life really difficult.
Yeah, definitely, because everyone just posts like the highlights of their life on the internet, so all you see are the good things, and sometimes people just don't really realise that that person has problems as well. So.
Yeah, it's important to remember it's not like that's not their whole life. They're not going for parties every day. Sometimes they're just, going to bed early or whatever. But it's, I think it can, affect you.
I think social media is a big issue, but I think there's a bigger issue in just social, like normally. You can walk away from a computer screen, you can walk away from a phone. I know people find it difficult, but you can. But if you walk into a room and someone's there and you've just told them something, and then you walk out and then they're being worried for you because you're a child, they're going to follow you. And they can follow you for as long as they like, So that's something that you can't get away from. So they need to look at the social element before social media.
We are one step behind. Young people are involved in all sorts of social media. Parents are completely unaware of. Teachers may be unaware of. And I think that, minute by minute, there are new possibilities for young people to be chased on social media. The idea that you can instantly put a photograph of yourself up and then there's nothing you can do about it. What happens to that photograph is anybody's business, but I know that young people are finding more and more that what's happening to details or pictures of themselves is beyond their control.
Young people, when they're diagnosed with either mental health disorders or illnesses, then there starts to become a bigger problem because they've got all of that general stuff on top already, and then they're trying to deal with something that they don't really understand. And no one really understands because, okay, you can diagnose something and it can be something, but there can be thousands of that exact type of illness and no one's going to have the same experience.
No, I think if you're a young person who's confused about your life and there's your friends or anyone else posting these amazing, glamorous pictures of how their life is going so well, you feel this insecurity that you're not doing well in your life, and you feel, I wouldn't say fully depressed, but you feel sad or depressed that you haven't achieved this dream yet, you haven't achieved as someone else done so well. That I think that makes people feel not depressed, but almost sad in a way that they haven't done this with their life yet, and other people doing it so much. And this pressure from society and the social media puts young people in a dangerous situation, I think.